I'm just kind of wondering too, as people are coming into the space, I think there's sort of a very natural, do they start out on the fringe? I don't really know, actually.
Well, see, here's the thought that I was having the whole time, because, I think most people feel misunderstood, not really known, and that would necessarily bring them into this idea that they're fringe. And then because of the isolation due to technology and individualism, they really feel fringe. But it's been my experience in the many relationships that I've had, like in real life relationships, like everybody says that to me. And then I'm thinking, oh, that's how I feel. And then I'm like, well, I think we all feel like this. So I don't know if there's only certain, because, a lot of people want to deduce that this corner attracts fringe people. I think it just attracts people. And people now, because of the lack of community, and I would also go so far as to say globalism, because of globalism and the tearing down of, smaller places of connection, people groups and whatever communities. People are really feeling fringe, and of course in Canada that word has a specific meaning, okay? Because Justin Trudeau called the people who participated in the trucker convoy just a fringe portion of society. And so a running joke, because it turned out that 70% of the population were fringe. So that's not fringe anymore, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty big fringe.
That's a big fringe, yeah. And so, there's cups now and hats and scarves and banners and everything, that we're all part of the fringe, right? And I think it's just because we're so cut off from each other. And, to use that Justin Trudeau example again, because we're so cut off from each other in this world of, I don't know, isolation, individualism, technology, Claire probably knows,
modernity.
The isolation industrial complex.
Yeah, this atomizing, whatever it is, spirit, I'll call it. It can say things like that and really hit its mark, because I think most people believe it. And that's the sad thing for me. I think we're all really much alike. We're not all fringe. We're all human. And we're complex, and we feel a little bit unknown, and especially today. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, and to have a safe place to just show up and be able to say what's on your mind and hear what's on other people's mind, and then go around the circle and, oh yeah, that resonated with me. I mean, that's, I think, just meeting a huge need.
Yeah, it's connecting us back together again. And I mean, Matthias Desmet, who, if Clara hasn't read yet, needs to.
The list grows every day.
It's a thin book, and you'll have it done in no time. It's 5 hours on Audible. You can handle it.
What's the title?
It's called The Psychology of Totalitarianism. But he talks about how, he talks about mass formation, not psychosis. Okay, not a mass psychosis. He's very clear that that is not what he's talking about. It's a formation of a mass. And one of the things he says, that there's a criteria for how that plays itself. This criteria has to be fulfilled in order for it to happen. And one of the things is atomization, right? Isolation, and free-floating anxiety. And I mean, when you think about the state of the world that we live in, everybody's anxious and depressed. Everybody's on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. And yet no one can actually point at anything and say, this is what causes my anxiety. They have no clue. It's free-floating anxiety. And I think it's free-floating anxiety because there's a lack of connection to the world, like the nature and each other. Because that's what we're, we're tribal. We're, chimpanzees live in troops, gorillas live in families, goats live in families. Like, we need to be together, and we're apart, right? So, yeah. And then the cool thing about that, Clara, is that he says that if somebody wants to take control of a culture, they can point to something and say, that's where you need to put your free-floating anxiety. Right?
Then
Wow. That sounds like a book I need to put on my list too.
Oh, you need to read it. Yeah. Everyone needs to read it. I've been preaching Matthias Desmond now for ever since the lockdowns.